Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Safari Mack Explores North America. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, despite all the few winter storms that we've had so far this week, I think it's safe to say that we can officially welcome spring into North America, as well as to Yellowstone National Park. So as you can see, the snow is gone, the flowers are in bloom, and tourist season is about to begin. And it's just in time too, because millions of people are going to be heading to the park especially, to not just look for the bison, but another great American icon, as well as a great conservation success story. Today, we meet the wolf, otherwise known as Canis lupus. But before we begin, as always, hit that like and subscribe button for more featured content. Check out my Facebook page for special updates from conservation projects all over the world. And if you have a question about animals, or if there's an animal that you would like me to do in the future, send me an email, which you'll find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's begin. As always, we start with the evolution and its family. So, wolves by name, but truly dogs by nature. It's easy for us to forget how these wild creatures are in fact the closest cousins to the world's favorite family pet. But today we're not going to focus on their evolution from wolf to dog. We're just focusing on the evolution of wolves as a species. First of all, journey back 38 to 34 million years ago to North America, where the earliest ancient canines first began to appear. But now, instead of staying in North America, they would actually go across the land bridge and by around 8 million years ago, and they would head over into the rest of the world, where they would evolve their own family bloodlines and lineages. So from this ancient ancestor, the modern-day wolf, which wouldn't appear until 1 million years ago in Eurasia, would soon make its way through Europe, Asia, eventually crossing the land bridge from Asia to North America once more, into North America, where they would evolve into the top predator that we know of them today. Now, in terms of habitat and lifestyle, first, I'd like to just share a couple of cool things. North America actually has three kinds of wolves. There's the Mexican wolf, that is of the southwestern hemisphere, and the red wolf, that was more of the southeastern part of the United States. Today, though, the red wolf is a critically endangered species, and you would only find them occupying the state of North Carolina. But for today's video, we're just going to focus specifically on the gray wolf, that at one point before European colonization once covered 2/3 of the entire continent, but today it is limited due to a variety of reasons, as we'll get to that next week. In addition to that, we'll also get into their story of life and of how they were reintroduced into Yellowstone. But just a little quick fact, if you go to Yellowstone today, some biologists, as well as the rangers, may tell you that the wolves, while they do occupy all of the park, they are more likely to be found up in the northern part of the national park. Now, let's move on to their family life. Wolves are highly social creatures, but it is primarily based on a family unit, which is governed by two dominant wolves, the alpha male and the alpha female. They are in charge of maintaining law and order in the pack, settling disputes, making sure that everybody stays in line, and they can't do all of it without having a little bit of help from the betas, which would be the second in command, who are also in charge of helping to keep the omegas in check, as well as cooperating with everything that they need to be successful predators. So now, as I've said, only the alpha male and female are in charge of breeding. So basically, the pack will be comprised mostly of their offspring, as well as some strangers that may have left their original familial packs to join other packs as a way of eventually maybe working their way up to becoming the next alpha dog. But here, if the pack is actually large enough to support more wolves, then it is not entirely too uncommon to see betas also being given the chance to reproduce and bring forth the next generation. So now, let's go into a little bit of family life. So, I know, first of all, I know they're cute, But just remember, these are still wild animals, so we must always treat these creatures with respect. After a gestation period of around 62 to 75 days, the alpha female will find a den of her choosing and will give birth from anywhere from 4 pups to 7 pups. Although some births have recorded 2 to 10 puppies at one point. But like I said, generally it's around 4 to 7. So for the first 6 weeks of their life, they stay in their den and do not venture out until by 6 weeks of age, where they're ready to follow their mom and be introduced to the rest of the pack so that they know who each other is and learn everything that they need to be wolves, including the hunt. Speaking of which, let's begin that now. Now, so far on Safari Mack, you've heard me talk about different predators, and most of these predators have had one thing in common: their endurance. Now, the animals that I've mentioned, like lions, tigers, and even jaguars and other predators and such, they do have an amazing burst of speed, but they're not built for long chases. So unless they get really close to their victim or quarry, they don't stand a chance. Now, wolves, though, are different. They have endurance to be able to go on longer chases. They can run for a few miles before tiring, either trying to tire out their quarry or their victim, or spotting another opportunity where they can either corner their prey into a kill zone or spot another victim that might be easier to catch. But now let's see what's on the menu. As they are opportunists, they will eat hares, beavers, and other rodent species. But that's just what they'll do when there's sufficient prey isn't around. Generally, they'll go after moose, deer, bison, which make up around 10 to 15% of their diet, especially in the park, while elk tends to make up around 80 to 90% of their diets in the park, especially during the winter. Now, how do they do this? Wolves are known to actually test out their prey to see if it's either fit and strong or if it's nice and weak enough to make the kill. So what they do is they chase it around a bit, seeing how well the quarry reacts and how it defends itself against its natural enemies. If it's strong enough, then the wolves don't even try to bother bringing him down. But if there's another one that's a lot more sicker or can't really get away in time, like let's say with this elk here, maybe he's sickly and he won't be able to get through a really deep snowbank, then the wolves know this is the one that they have to kill. By doing this, they are helping prey populations that are sickly be weeded out and help the healthier populations thrive so that the species may continue on and continue their ecosystem's circle of life. Now, when they do catch their prey, one wolf will be able to eat around 20 pounds of meat in one sitting. Talk about a belly full of meat. Finally, I'd like to end today's part 1 episode with their influence in Native American culture. I'm not going to refer to how the Europeans as well as the American settlers saw wolves as evil. No. We're ditching away that idea. Instead, we're focusing on the positive part. So, and also, I'm not going to refer to the wolves that took it upon themselves to become man's best friend. We're not doing that. No. In many different North American tribes, they are the prominent figure in mythology of almost all Native American cultures and mythologies. So they're considered to be a medicine being associated with courage, strength, loyalty, and successful hunting strategies. In the Obiji tribe of northeastern America, the creation story says that the wolves are often are really just their family members, and that they're always referred to as a brother or a sister. And if a wolf dies, then the person would die as well. So here you really can see the true connection that these two natural predators have of showing coexistence. They are allies when you need them to be. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time I have left for today, so be sure to join me this Wednesday for a very special surprise video. But until then, this is Safari Mack. I'll see you all out there.